Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to look at the new base theme for AgilePoint NX eForm, which will be shipped with AgilePoint NX version 8.0. Some of the key points to remember is that your existing eForms will stay as is. They will not be impacted by upgrading to version 8.0. The existing eForms can be upgraded to pick up the new theme via form settings once customer feels comfortable to upgrade existing apps to new UI style, and this gives customer chance to do a proper testing of their forms with new theme. Any new eForm that is created with AgilePoint NX version 8.0 by default will be using the new theme. You can still override the theme by either using a global CSS or a custom application level CSS. The new eForms created with version 8.0 can also be downgraded to use a classic theme if you want it. Let's look at this. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Build Apps. I'm going to say Add an app. Click Next. I'm going to give a name to this app. I'm going to give a name to the process model as well, and I'm going to say that this is triggered by eForm. I'm going to just go with the blank data source for now. Next, I'm going to drag and drop the start task activity. Click on Add a new form. And then I'm going to say just start designing a new form. So this is where you start seeing the change. So it brings up the form settings dialog over here. And if you go to the appearance tab and scroll down a little bit, you'll see there is a theme drop down now over here. So at the point of recording this video, we are calling it classic versus modern theme. Classic is pre-version 8.0 and modern is post-version 8.0. But this terminology would change by the time we go GA. So you might see a different naming convention mentioned over here. So any new form which is created picks up the modern theme by default, which is the 8.0 theme. So I'm going to go ahead and close this dialog. As you can see, what it did was it started picking up the new theme in the form designer itself. So it is no more the green buttons. You see the new style buttons which match rest of the product styling. So I'm going to drag and drop certain controls on the form designer surface to give you a sense. So a text box. So one thing you will notice is that a theme, one of the most important element is font family, as well as what font style is being used, as well as what is the font size. So now we are using Roboto font and the size is 14 pixel. That's the one by default. You can always change it. Next, I'm going to drag and drop checkbox. I'm going to just add a couple of options over here. A radio button. Same thing, I'm going to just quickly add a couple of options. A drop down. Again, maybe just add a couple of options over here. Let's see, maybe a date control. And now I'm going to just add some sections to this as well. So I'm going to go ahead and click section. I'm going to say add section 2 and section 3. One thing you will notice is that we have changed the default layout style to be the bar style. You can always switch back to the previous ones if you wanted. And also if you go to the appearance tab, from a predefined style, you can use the default one is the new cobalt blue kind of style, but you can always select the previous ones if you wanted. I'm going to just go ahead and click OK over here. So you see now the new section style starts showing up. Because I said this is going to be a section based form, it is showing me the next button over here. Now one thing also you might notice is the button position has been moved to the right hand corner to match the new UI style. Now if I go back to form settings, I can always throw in more action buttons over here. So you see a lot more buttons now. So the convention which we are following is all the primary call to action buttons are marked as blue. The secondary one, like next in this case, is marked as white, and the tertiary one, the one which people usually won't use, is marked like this. Now, however, if I did not have a section, let's just see that as well. So I'm going to go to settings. I'm going to delete the sections once more. I'm going to say yes. And if you see, now submit became the primary and cancel became secondary in this case. So that's the style we are following everywhere. So I'm going to go back and add the sections so that you can see the section part. So we have a text box, checkbox, radio button, drop down, a date control. I'm going to also add a file upload maybe over here. So I'm going to just say add a file upload. So this is the new file upload style. And lastly, I'm going to add a grid. So let's add a grid over here as well. So I'm going to go to the advanced controls and I'm going to add a data grid. In the data grid, I'm going to say it's an inline style data grid, and I'm going to add maybe 3 columns, right? So I'm going to just say column 1, column 2, maybe column 3 over here, and allow add, edit, delete. I'm going to span it across multiple columns, maybe change the width as well a little bit. Okay, so now I can quickly preview my form. So I'm going to say preview. So as you can see, this is the new style. It is following Roboto 14 style as far as text is concerned. If I select the checkboxes, it has a new cobalt blue color. Same for the radio button. Same goes for the drop downs over here. The calendar control or the date control has a new styling as well. And as far as the grid is concerned, you see the grid is totally redesigned as well. So right now I don't have any rows over here. I'm going to say add a new record. And I'm going to just put some values in here. Maybe add one more record. So this is the new display style for the grid. Now I can always do one more thing. I can go back, and if I really wanted to go back to the previous theme style, I have an option of doing that. I can always go back to form setting, appearance, over here, go and switch it to classic mode. The moment I switch it to classic mode, you see the classic style grid and the classic button styles all showing up. And now it is using the Arial font over here. So you can always switch even the new forms to the classic style. I'm going to revert it back. So it picks up the new theme. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a couple of completed forms so that you can get a sense of how this looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and open a couple of my forms. So in this form, I have actually put in all sorts of controls. You'll see that the header style has also changed. It has the logo as well as the username, and it has more of a display style which is consistent with rest of the new portal. So on the common tab, I have put in all the common controls which are available in the common control set. So you can see label, text box, text area style, as I said, the check boxes, radio buttons, drop down styles, list box, group boxes. You can see the button style is now something like this out of the box. Similarly, date pickers. Labels, auto suggest. So you can see the auto suggest style as well. Also, if I go to advanced, these are all the advanced control styles. So if you see the slider style or maybe the range control style. These things have been all redesigned as well. I already talked about grid. Let's see it once more. So I can say Yashant, and this looks good. And then I'm going to just add one more, John. So you can see this is the new grid style. There's obviously the other controls which you can see, the matrix and matrix control over here. And same goes with Telerik control. So this is even the Telerik controls have been redesigned to pick up the new style. Okay, so that was more about the styling of all the out of the box controls. Now there's one control which has a special meaning, which is the list view control, which is used only for data driven applications or form. Okay, so as you can see on the screen, this is the design of the new list view control. So you have the records now showing up in a totally different style. You have the icons all changed up as well, and as far as the navigation is concerned, that also has been modified. So it has a more modern looking look and feel consistent with the rest of the product. Now you might have a situation where you have existing applications created prior to version 8.0 and you want to move it to the new theme. So you can always go back to build apps over here. So I have this application which was created to prior version 8.0. If I drag and drop a standard task activity on the design canvas and I say add a new form, and I add a new form over here, when I click next, if I create a blank form, by default it is going to pick the modern theme because that's the default starting 8.0. You can always downgrade it to classic theme if you want it. If I select existing form, it is going to inherit whatever was used in the existing form. So existing form, if it was using classic, it is going to use that. If it was using modern, it is going to inherit that by default. And as I mentioned, you can always change it. I'm going to delete this one and open an existing form. So as you can see, this is my existing form, and this has a pre-version 8.0 look and feel. This has the classic look and feel. So if I go to settings, appearance, the theme is set to classic. So it has green buttons and it has all the font style which is different. I can always switch it to modern over there from that drop down and test my form before I publish it to the other users. Now, one small thing which you might want to remember is that if you go to the modern theme and open any text editor kind of a control like a text box, go to appearance, what you see is the font family and font size by default have not been set at the control level. They inherit the values by default from the theme. So where it is set to Roboto 14. You can always obviously override it using selections from these drop downs. However, in the classic theme, if you go in and click on edit in a text box control, by default they were set to Arial 12. So these values got saved in the control level properties, and anything which is set at a control level property would take a higher preference compared to whatever is coming from the theme. So if you are moving an existing form from classic to modern, you are going to go to the form settings and going to set that as modern, and there's one more step. Go to bulk edit. It shows you the entire list of controls over here. In the field properties, go ahead and add font name and font size, and from this you can quickly either change it to Roboto 14 or you can either clear it out as well. So you can basically get it to the level which the new theme is using. This is only required if you are moving from classic theme to a modern theme and you have an existing application which is using the Arial 12 font size. Thanks a lot for your time.